So I'm seeing a lot of new faces, so I'm really excited to see we're having more people out to get information at our Java with John event. There is a sign-in. If you didn't have a chance to sign in, if you could, we'd appreciate it. And then in case you haven't been here before, the format typically I'm going to give you lots of good information about the district. I'm going to try to anticipate some questions you may have and try to answer them before you even have an opportunity to ask me that question. And then at the end, I'm going to give an opportunity if you have any questions for me or if you want to provide any feedback. If you don't feel comfortable talking to the group, I certainly stay after for a little bit if you want to have a side conversation. So we can do that as well. So I'm John Baronato. I'm the superintendent here in Manchester, if I haven't met you. I try to make myself available. This picture that's up here is actually a picture of me. My mom sent it to me for when I was 15 months old. Clearly had too much milk. Around me are all of the colleges and universities and all the schooling that I've done up until now, including St. Peter's University, where I'm currently working on my doctorate. I'm still formulating my dissertation, but seeing that preschool is something that's a new initiative for our school district, and really want to be able to measure the success of our preschool program and how it supports the idea of readiness, beginning in kindergarten all the way through our primary grades. So that's something that I'm going to be exploring and doing some research on in our district. A little bit about me. I typically like to stay active doing yoga, Peloton. Currently I am having some knee issues, but I'm doing my best to try to stay as active as possible. I'm a Leo. My birthday is August 12th, so if you know anything about astrology, you read a description of a Leo, that's pretty much me to a T. Those are my two fur babies, Daphne and Fiona, down on the right. And then I always like to include what I'm currently reading. So I'm reading a book that's called Saving Play, and it's all about incorporating purposeful play, not only in preschool, but developmentally, how we can incorporate those practices in kindergarten. So that's something that I'm about halfway through. I'm going to finish up this weekend. And then Dr. Burns, our director of early childhood, also ordered the book, and it's something that we're going to be looking at to do a book study with some of our preschool staff. This is my daughter, Gianna Marie. She's 15 months today, actually. And I always put her on here. Well, I love seeing pictures of her, but she also represents something very special for me. She was born the same day that I started here in Manchester. So I always equate how much has happened during that time to the growth that I see in my daughter. So that was her down in Florida. We went to the zoo for the first time, and that was her in the merry-go-round. She loved it and wanted to do no hands. We had to keep telling her hands. Just a little bit about communication. This is something that I've been working on very closely. We have a new public information officer that started with us in the beginning of the year, Tina, who's here in the back. She really does a really great job of keeping communication current, whether it's on our district webpage, which is on here, which is always the best place to get your information. We're going to be redoing our website. We're going to be using Aptigee. So over the summer, you might see our website down or under construction, but we're going to try to make it so that way there's minimal disruption to our website, and really getting it so that way all the information can stay on our website. Parents and staff members will be able to download an app onto their iPhone or Android, so that way you can stay current with all the information and just make information even more accessible than it is. We do have social media. Our district has a Facebook page along with several other Facebook pages that are held by teachers and departments. And Twitter, we do use those to showcase good news. So something that we're going to be moving towards is really just being able to showcase great things on Facebook and Twitter, and utilize our website and our app to be able to push out information and communication just to keep our communication streamlined. We do offer mass notifications. That's if you get text messages or emails. Currently, we're using Blackboard, but we're going to be migrating that over. It's going to be a one-stop shop once we change our website. So that's something exciting that'll happen over the summer. Some good news events. So we had an MTES, the One Book, One School. We had our 5th grade field day. That was our junior achievement day at MTES. RDS had the Bubbles for Autism. It was a beautiful day, and I was stuck in my office. I could not get out that day. The military child, we were able to visit the joint base with Lakers to go out there and celebrate the proclamation signing of that event. And then we had a special event over at Whiting. The state police actually landed their helicopter. It was one of our staff members' husband that was able to make that and talk a little bit about his job and what he does to keep us all safe. The middle school drama department had Peter Pan Jr. If you didn't get a chance to see that, it was absolutely incredible. I went on Friday night, and I couldn't believe that they were middle schoolers, to be honest with you. I mean, Peter Pan and Captain Hook stole the show. I was cracking up. Regional Day had their annual field day. 7th grade Earth Day bee project. The high school participated in Habitat for Humanity. The high school boys and girls state, and then Week of the Young Child that was celebrated at all of our elementary schools. The picture that's here was taken over at Whiting Elementary School. So the end of the year is always very busy, but it's just nice to be able to have events that really showcase Manchester and all the great things that we do for our students. Strategic planning, I'd just like to keep everybody abreast of what's next. So it's May, so we're really working on getting some of the information from Dr. Severance, who was our consultant, and we're going to be drafting some goals and action steps. And then we hope to have all the information compiled so that way at the June Board of Education meeting, we'll present that information out to the board and to the public, just to have an idea of all that data and have it sort of disaggregated on different stakeholders and really where our priorities lie in the next couple of years. We're always looking for volunteers. I always do a shameless plug for the PTA because they're always looking for additional members. But aside from that, if you're interested or know somebody that's interested in volunteering in our schools, it could be as simple as coming to read or work in classrooms. You can email volunteer@mtschools.org. And then as you saw in the vestibule, you might have seen a little iPad setup. That is, we're piloting it right here at Ridgeway. And then we're going to roll it out to other schools, but that actually performs a background check using a license just to make sure that that person can safely be in our buildings. Our 23-24 calendar set that's available on our website. It's been emailed out. It's also included in many of the principal newsletters. So if you need that, if you need it printed, you can certainly email the main office or contact the main office if you need a hard copy, but you should be able to print it yourself right from our website. So tonight, we really wanted to talk a little bit about early childhood. There's a lot of information being circulated about what preschool is and what it isn't, and I wanted to take this opportunity to be able to present it at an event like this. We're also recording tonight's event, just so that way anyone that could not make it can actually hear the information and have access to the slides. The slide deck has always been posted on our website. But now we're going to make it even easier for people to be able to find the slide deck and then also have my voice to be able to hear exactly what was presented out to the public. So our early childhood update begins with giving an update of where we are with our goal. So in year one, when we applied for expansion aid, we said that we would reasonably be able to accommodate around 120 students, preschool students. Those are students that fall in the age bracket of 3 and 4 years old. And we exceeded that goal in 6 months. We have 127 preschoolers currently in our program, and that does not include our preschool disabled population. These are students that would ordinarily be in a daycare center or not in preschool that now we have within our schools. Next year, we were projected to have 150 students in our program, and we've exceeded it. We have over 170 students that are signed up for our program. So each year, just so you understand this, when we applied for expansion aid, what we had to show the state was that we can reasonably expand our program. The name of the award money was Preschool Expansion Aid, showing they weren't expecting us to have our preschool program ready to go in year one. They gave us 5 years to be able to develop a plan that supports the district, supports the best practices, and making sure that we have the teachers and the staff that can adequately support the program. And as you can see, we're on the right track with that. In terms of next year, so our preschool teachers are going to, and preschool programs are going to emulate the elementary school schedule. Currently, we operate our preschool program on an additional tier of busing for the most part. There are a few exceptions to that rule this year, but we're looking to integrate them into the buildings. So whatever the times would be at the elementary school would be the same for 3 and 4 year olds all the way through 5th grade for next year within those respective buildings. Our preschool parent academy has had incredible participation. That's 73 participants across our 4 meetings this year. Our preschool open house, which was 2 Saturdays ago, brought in 200 plus families for that registration event, which did include preschool and kindergarten there to register. So it really was an incredible event. Lots of community participation as well. Our Early Childhood Advisory Committee, it brings together a partnership for early childhood. So Dr. Burns hosts this for the county. So while we are a new program, a lot of our staff are veteran preschool staff members, including Dr. Burns, who's been a part of preschool for almost 10 years. Okay, so while this is new to Manchester, it's not new to the state. So something that we've been doing is bringing cohorts of administrators together across the county, just so that way we can support other districts with implementing preschool, and also just kind of have that time to articulate about different things that are happening and really strategize on every school, and has different challenges. And the idea behind that event is really just to have that articulation across different districts in our county. So preschool does not take away from the K-12 budget, and I'm going to explain what this is. It actually supports our budget. So there are different ways when we get our award money. So for this year, we got $3.2 million. And that $3.2 million had to be used for startup of our program, retrofitting our classrooms, curriculum, everything from salaries and benefits for employees down to the materials that our preschoolers are using. The benefit to the district is that a portion of salaries can be offset. Whereas, let's say a principal of a building, 100% of the salary would fall within a general budget, and that's a burden to taxpayers. We actually take a percentage of that, and that's now covered under the preschool budget that we have. And we do that for things, over here we have a supervisor, 3 elementary principals, 2 directors, social worker, 2 teachers, myself, and the BA. And just to be clear, that's not extra money that we're getting. We're taking a salary and the benefits that were there, and a percentage of that is now being paid for by preschool, which then puts money back into our K-12 budget for us to repurpose and really support students and programs and various initiatives. As you know, we do have currently a declining enrollment in Manchester. When we certified last year compared to this year, we were about 120 students down from the year previous. And if you really kind of monetize that, we're looking at over $1 million that would have been lost within the budget that we were able to supplement through the preschool program to offset, so we were able to sustain all of our positions, all of our programs. And the benefit of that is now we're educating students 2 years earlier, which then we have our eyes on them, we're able to support them through a research-based curriculum to ensure when they get to kindergarten, they are ready for kindergarten and beyond, right? We want them to be supported throughout their educational career. And what the research shows is giving students those extra 2 years reduces the need for special education services, basic skills services, interventions. So it really is the right move educationally, and then also financially, we have that support to our district as well. So looking ahead for 23-24, this is an outline of what our proposal included. Now, anything could change based on enrollment, but this is what we're currently projecting out. We're looking to have 6 classrooms over at Whiting Elementary School, plus 2 preschool disabled classrooms, for a total of 8 preschool classrooms. We will have 4 here at Ridgeway and 4 at MTES. So this is an increase of 4 classrooms from this year to next year. Not including the preschool disabled, which we currently have 3. But again, one of the benefits of moving to this program is that students that would typically be in what was deemed the preschool disabled classroom, we now have integrated opportunities for them to be able to get the services that they need and have general education students as a model, which is the best practice. Some other notable benefits, we're no longer using Hilltop, so there's no offsite classrooms that we're utilizing. Most children will go to their home school. We're going to be using Whiting as our overflow just because we have additional classrooms over on that side of town. Before and after care will be available for all 3- and 4-year-olds. Currently, they were only taking 4-year-olds, but they were able to modify their contract and begin accepting 3-year-olds beginning next year. We have financial savings for families that would normally be paying for daycare at a school. Unified instructional early childhood team, and really just gives us that academic edge to be able, as I mentioned, having eyes on students and really being able to make sure that we're setting them up for success when they get into the school age programs. Related services that are available through our preschool expansion aid is OT, PT, speech. All those services are integrated as much as possible, in addition to a social worker that works very closely in the classrooms with the teachers and all of our support services. And as I mentioned, we have inclusion model classrooms. So all of our classrooms are integrated, having general education and special education. We do have a workshop tomorrow, and that is preparing for kindergarten. So if you have a child that's getting ready for kindergarten, this would be a great event to attend. It is this one virtual? This is in person?
In person, at the middle school.
At the middle school.
And prior, if you do need to do any type of registration, you can bring your information, and you can always register prior to the event.
Thank you. For registering for preschool, I think we have a limited number of spots available, but you can scan that. It's on our website. If you know somebody that has a 3 or 4-year-old that's turning 3 or 4 by October 1st, they can register. Same thing with kindergarten. We are keeping a very close eye on our kindergarten classrooms to make sure that our class sizes still stay in the range that we feel is acceptable. So you can register that, and that's been open, so you can continue to do that. Curriculum update, so we did get our performance report, and our performance report is essentially a report card on each individual school, and then we also get one that's from the district. So that's available. Mrs. Petroza put together an easy to follow presentation. You don't have to know what a performance report is. Mrs. Petroza really did a nice job of outlining the information to you, so that way you can understand the different elements and components that the school is rated on. We have our family night for the elementary and middle school. That's on May 24th at 6 p.m. at MTBS. And that is a social emotional learning night. We have 2 Title I programs coming up. And the first one's on May 10th at 5 o'clock, and that's our spring showcase. And then June 1st, that is our literacy breakfast. We have a family STEM night. If you have not been over there, this is number 3. We've had 3. I went to the first one. I'm hoping to get over to this one. Just an incredible event, and it really, if you don't know what STEM is, or STEAM sometimes it's referred to, this will give you a nice hands-on approach of what we're doing at the middle school, and really what's happening across all of our schools in terms of engineering instruction and science and technology. And then the engineering club, there's your STEAM night on May 4th from 5:30 to 7:30.
John, I was just saying, come hungry to that.
Oh, yeah.
Right, they have a lot of food.
Oh, there was White Castle, there was Jersey Mike's. I know. When I saw White Castle, I said, I haven't had that since I was a child. This is just the flyer for our social emotional night. You can link on that. And again, this slide deck will be available on the website, so if you wanted to pull it up yourself and access any of these links. We are in our 3rd trimester. I can't believe that we're already May 2nd. We're rounding 3rd in our school year here. But report cards will be available in the parent portal on June 21st for elementary students. And then we're still working on the after. I put add information because we need to add information on that. That was from me. I didn't know that was there. But our after school and summer programs, we just had those dates board approved, and we're still continuing to see what that's going to look like. We're waiting for our entitlement grants to come through. Those are our Title I monies that come through, Title II, 3, and 4. So once we have those allocations in conjunction with IDEA money and our ESSER money that we have left over, we'll have a better idea of what those programs are going to look like. I know we are, Mrs. Antonucci, we're pretty well staffed for ESY for our special ed program. So we got to jump on that, try to attract as many teachers as possible for that program. Middle school and high school. For the middle school, June 21st is also the date for the report card on the parent portal. And then for the high school, May 12th, you'll get your semester 5, and then June 21st will be semester 6 for those report cards. Special education, the progress report date will be May 16th, and you'll be able to see that through IEP Direct. And in case you weren't at a previous meeting, what we did this year, and we're almost finished, is for the elementary level, we tried to make it so that with the progress reports and an IEP, now emulate the trimesters. So instead of having 4 progress reports for the IEP, we've slowly transitioned everybody over to 3, so that way the reporting periods are the same at the elementary level. We have a parent academy on June 6th with CPAG about summer resources, and that's held virtually. And then Mrs. Antonucci hosts yoga. She's done it quite a few times. The next one is on May 15th at 5:30, and that's open to everyone. Anyone that wants to go. Here are the extended school year dates and times. We have various dates depending on the program. Each school is going to host different events and different programs. So you'll be able to get more information, should be sent out shortly in a letter. Did you send it out yet? I'm sorry.
Invites were sent out last week, and we'll do a second round for anyone who hasn't received
So if you're anticipating being part of extended school year, which is our special ed program, and you haven't received something, certainly reach out to our special education office. Those are all of our CPAC dates. As I mentioned, the next one's May. We have the closed one for parents and guardians on May 23rd, and then our open meeting is on June 6th. Safety and security. So in case, I don't know if you noticed when you walked in, but our vestibule here at Ridgeway is completely redone. We got new front doors. We also got new doors that enter into the main office. I'm being told that those were original to the building, or were almost close to original that was there. So that's a nice addition to that area. It also allows for the office to be able to safely communicate with people that are within the vestibule. And we're going to be doing this to all of our schools slowly, but this was the first school that got that. You know, Whiting already has it, the high school has it, so we'll be doing something with the other schools. We also have visitor management system that's now up and running here. That's what I mentioned, where you can scan your license, it does a background check, it prints out a nice label for you that you're the visitor and where you're going. And then the first time you do need your license, but beyond that, you'll be able to type in your name, it'll pull you up, and it will run a check again, just to make sure that nothing's happened from your previous visit to now that will preclude you from, being in the building. Cameras, we're in the midst of upgrading those over at the high school. We're looking to add more at the middle school and the exterior level. And then our new phone system is up and running in all schools, which allows for lockdown drills to be called from any classroom, allows for us to call in using the phone. So it's just an additional way for us to be able to communicate in the event of an emergency. State testing is underway in various grades. This week we're doing 5th grade, May 1st. And then we'll be moving through the week of May 8th, the 16th, and the 15th to be able to test all of the areas that we need to. Those were the STEM nights that I mentioned. Our next one is over there on May 18th, and that's at the middle school challenge night. Candy Bar Bingo is being held by the PTA, and that's on May 19th at the middle school from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Do you need to sign up ahead of time? Just show up? Show up for Candy Bar Bingo. If you click on this, there was a survey that was sent out to parents. If you didn't get a chance, you can click right on this and it will take you to that survey so you can give us some information. We just recently increased our substitute pay from $120 a day to $130 to be able to attract more substitutes, which we desperately need. So if you know somebody that has 60 college credits and is interested in being a substitute, and if they're an education major and they have 30 credits, we can endorse them and they can also become a substitute, even if they're only available a day or two. It's a good idea to get them on the list because as their time changes, they'll be able to take on more days. We're hiring bus drivers, so if anyone wants to be a bus driver, we're offering paid training and then also competitive benefits, which include family benefits for new hires. So if you're interested, the phone number's here. They can be a substitute. Substitutes are $18 an hour, so we desperately need our bus drivers as well. Girls' Night Out is happening Thursday, May 4th, and that's being hosted by the Girl Scouts of the Jersey Shore. That's available on our website as well. Lakehurst Manchester Rotary 50th Anniversary Spaghetti Dinner. If you're interested in that, all the information's on there. Our PTA meeting still happening May 16th at 7 p.m. Is that correct? All right. And that's open to the public? Yeah. The public. So if you're interested, go to that meeting. That's over at the high school. So I always like to include a slide or two about myth busting. So these are just some things that I'm hearing, and I want to be able to give you the right information. So the first one here is that Mr. Baronato is eliminating the basic skills program. No, that is not correct. Okay, and I'm going to read right from here just to make sure that the information matches my voice. Basic skills is supported by federal law. It provides academic support to students who fall below proficiency and are at risk for failure. Title I money is used to partially fund the programs at Ridgeway, MTES, and MTMS. At this time, Whiting and the high school are not eligible for targeted assistance. Despite funding challenges, all schools will offer basic skill support to students who qualify for these services. So what that means is that schools that we do not receive Title I funds for will still have the same or better service to those students that are deemed at risk. and need support. Substitutes for basic skills teachers continues to be a challenge. However, we hope this improves next year. Right now, the way that we take our substitute, and any teacher can put into our system that they require a substitute. The morning of is very different from when someone submits an absence. Because if you know that you're gonna be absent 3 weeks before, the morning of, we might have people that had an emergency, or they're sick and they can't come in. So the substitute dynamic changes because we prioritize substitutes, and I'm going to explain what the priority levels are. We need to make sure that our classrooms are covered, because if the classroom is not covered with a substitute, for instance, a 5th grade classroom, we do not have a substitute, we then have to take the 20 students that are in that classroom, and we have to disperse them across various classrooms. They could be 5th grade classrooms, they could be 4th grade classrooms, they could be 3rd grade classrooms. That's not effective for them because that day is no longer going to be geared towards the instruction that the teacher intended when they were absent. So what we do is we prioritize so that way that teacher gets a substitute. The next level that we have to make sure that have substitutes is special education. Special education programs and services are within an IEP. They're confined to the IEP. So if we're not in compliance with an IEP, we're subject to wind up to litigation. We can have families that need compensatory services. So we always make sure that we staff our special education programs first. Now, I will tell you, in the past, they would pull resource room teachers. It was acceptable for us to pull resource room teachers and in-class support teachers to be able to cover classrooms. That is not a practice that I'm willing to support because it jeopardizes our ability to stay compliant with IEP. If we do have substitutes left over after we go through classroom and special education programs, we then allow for the substitutes to be in basic skills. But right now we are experiencing a substitute shortage. So it's not regularly that we're able to have substitutes in basic skills. The next myth that I have up here is that our 5th graders are moving to the middle school next year. That is incorrect. No, we are in the process of conducting a feasibility study that will determine whether the middle school facility can accommodate all 5th graders. The configuration is possible for the 24-25 school year. So what that means is the data that we get from the feasibility study will be presented out to the Board of Education and will be presented out to the public. And then once we've been able to review the feasibility study and develop a reasonable plan, the Board of Education will vote on a policy that supports the configuration of each school. This is an existing policy that would be revised if we change any of the configurations to any of our schools. So right now, for next school year, there will be no change to our 5th grade. Current 4th grade going into 5th grade will stay at the school that they're at for 4th grade. So there will be no change for next year. So I know I've given you a lot of information, but now it's your opportunity if you want to ask me any questions, if you want to give any feedback, if you want me to clarify a slide, I can go back just to make sure.
I just had a question about the preschool busing with them going at the same time as regular students. Will they still be getting like door-to-door service on the smaller buses, or would they be going on the buses with the K-5?
Great question. So in most cases, they're going to be able, we're going to support it with some of the mini buses, but there might be some situations where the preschoolers are on the same bus. But in that case, we would have bus aids on there. If that was, if they were on big buses, we have to have the bus aid, and they would be prioritized for the front of the bus. But it really, we just renegotiated a contract with the bus drivers, which increased their pay. So we're hoping in a perfect world, we want to be able to have bus drivers in abundance, so that way we can keep the preschool kids separate.
My kids' buses are crazy, so like I can't picture a little 3-year-old on there with the crazy bit.
Great question.
What are the preschool class sizes? Like what is your
Sure.
earlier?
So our max is 15.
Okay.
And then with that, there's a teacher and a teacher assistant in there. We typically allow for 12 general education students and 3 students with IEPs, but it could change a little bit, but that's typically the structure we like to follow.
Okay, if there is since it's an inclusion class, will there be like a teacher or somebody there that will be able to provide services to those IEP students?
Right. So yes. the teacher, in some cases, we have dual certified teachers, but that's not required for preschool. As long as a teacher is certified in preschool through third grade, they can implement those services. If there were things like above and beyond, like OT, PT, or speech, that would be delivered, that service would be delivered by a certified individual.
Has there been any consideration put towards separating the 3s from 4s and 5s in the classrooms?
Yeah, so when we initially implemented the program, we did look at varied structures, and the research actually supports that the mixed 3 and 4-year-olds is actually better practice. It allows for the 3-year-olds to have the 4-year-olds as like a peer model.
Mhm.
And then also the way that the assessments and the curriculum is delivered, it really lends itself very well to differentiation, which means that we don't look at a certain range of ability that falls within a certain age. We actually looked at their zone of possible development that we look at. We look at what they're ready for across a continuum versus just like pigeonholing them like we do with first grade and second grade and looking at curriculum. It's a tool-based curriculum that really goes with readiness.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
And a statement.
Okay.
Tell me where you want me to go first.
Whatever you want.
Okay. My first question, next year, the preschool program, will all the kids start at the same time? Because like, my one son goes in at 8 and my daughter goes at 9. All kids at the same time or not?
Not all the preschool at the same time, but what it will be, it'll go by the school that they're at.
Okay.
So if their
that's like-
preschool program is at MTES, they'll follow the MTES schedule. If they're here at Ridgeway, they follow the Ridgeway schedule, Whiting, the Whiting schedule.
Okay. Second question. With all the funding and grants that you speak about, I'm new to Manchester. What are the chances that there would ever be a summer program for all the children, not just special education?
So we do offer Jumpstart programs and some programs that are funded with federal money that we got, but
Sorry.
yes, sir.
Actually, the summer jumpstart, we used to use ESSA money, but what we had decided to do was put it back into the local money, only because, John, we wanted to make sure it was open to everybody. Now, we do use federal money through ESSA, but once that goes, it probably would go back into our local budget. In years past, we used ESSA, so it was only the neediest students that were getting it. We wanted to make sure that we were able to give it to all kids that needed it, so we had changed that about 3 or 4 years ago. Just wanted to clarify that one, because I was a principal at that time, and it was very limited. That was really, you either only had an ESY program, or you had a Title I program.
Right.
And there were kids that were kind of like on the peripheral that needed those services, or you had some kids that needed enrichment. And so we've tried to move to a model that would allow us to K-5 have all. The middle school has a combination of both. They actually do a remediation program using title funds, but they also have an enrichment program also for their older kids.
Yeah, I did see that the recreation offers like a lot, and how we regulate and stuff like that. So I know when Jessica Bronson from Whiting has been emailing like a lot of programs that
Yes.
are available for the kids in the summer, but I just wasn't sure.
I mean, and as the budget kind of increases and as long as we get to a place where we're stable, it's always a good practice for us to be able to have like interest-based after-school programs. So if we wanted to do something like we're the STEM or poetry, that we would be able to offer those down the road. But next year, right, we're still waiting for everything to kind of fall into line, and we'll have a better idea of what programs we can do above and beyond what we've done in the past.
So my statement, sorry, so I just moved to Manchester it'll be a year in June. So I have 3-year-old twins that go to Whiting. So I'm coming from Monmouth County, and honest to God, like the teachers, amazing. From start to finish, like from the paperwork at the board office was just so easy. So like the meeting of the teachers, my son is in special ed and my daughter's in a regular classroom, but just the communication and like the Dojo app and the Remind app, and getting like these little pictures every day, love it. So, I just love the communication, and I don't even know, like, is that their personal phone or do you give them a phone?
That's their personal phone that they
So
do
the
it
fact that
from.
it's like 6 o'clock at night and like Miss Taylor, Miss Pablo are like sending messages, tomorrow is blue day or tomorrow is pajama day, appreciate it. Like the communication is amazing. You guys are doing an amazing, phenomenal job. I love it.
Thank you, I appreciate it. We're very blessed. We have excellent teachers, excellent administrators, a supportive Board of Education.
Yes,
So I
absolutely.
agree with you. We have a great program, and not just preschool. We have a great program, pre-K through 12th grade.
I'm looking forward to all the years to come.
Thank you, we appreciate it. Any other questions?
I'm just curious, we're talking about how we're getting state funding for preschool.
Yeah.
Is that renewable funding or is that contingent upon anything? And if we were to lose it, what would happen? I know that's a compounded question.
Right. So it's actually a very simple answer. So preschool now, just like we would do for kindergarten, because remember, kindergarten is not required by code. We do not have to have a kindergarten program, but you can submit for a number of 5-year-olds that are in your program, and you get state aid. And the biggest difference through the funding source that we have for preschool is that it's sustainable. So what it's aid that we're getting, not a grant that we're getting. And I know sometimes we use the word synonymously, but it is very different. When you hear grant, you hear, ooh, it could go away. It's aid that we're getting, and as long as we continue to have 3- and 4-year-olds that are in our program, we'll continue to get funding.
Okay, so it just continues as long as we meet the criteria.
And we'll have after year 5, the other thing is that we're obligated to be able to, any 3- or 4-year-old that moves to Manchester, we have to provide them preschool for getting funding for it. Just like with kindergarten, we wouldn't turn away someone saying, oh no, our classes are full. We would figure out a way to be able to service them. You're welcome.
I thought I saw on the slides a small picture of playground, but I don't think we touched it.
Oh, I think I did miss that. Thank you. So on this slide that I inadvertently skipped over, another benefit to the funding, it was very early on.
Right there.
There it is, fun fact, I missed that. So I'll read it to you. The fun fact is preschool will fund every elementary school to receive a brand new age-appropriate playground that's ADA compliant. So that's being funded completely by our expansion aid for preschool, and all 3 elementary schools will benefit from that playground expansion as well. So just another benefit,
Will
thank
that be
you.
happening over the summer?
That's the plan, right, for it to go in over the summer.
As soon as school closes, we are breaking ground.
There we go.
Are you gonna do all 3 elementaries at the same time, or are they gonna stagger?
For the playground,
Yeah.
do you know, in terms of implementation, are we doing one at a time or all 3 projects
We are
happening?
moving forward as soon as the school year closes, so we can have that done for September.
But just another benefit of preschool.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So she kind of offered her question about separating the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
So my son is turning 3, so potentially he'll be doing 2 years of preschool before he goes into kindergarten.
Right.
Is it the same curriculum in both years, or if he does one and then will he be moving to like another class or
Yeah,
curriculum or
great question.
objectives? I'm not exactly sure.
So I'm gonna do my best to explain. I've been doing a lot of research, so feel free to jump in, anyone that's in preschool. But it's a 3- and 4-year-old curriculum, and it's theme-based. So the themes that he encounters as a 3-year-old will be different than what he has as a 4-year-old. There might be some redundancy in terms of routines and procedures, because depending on how many 3-year-olds are in there that move up to the 4-year-old program, and we'll see how many 3-year-olds come in when he's 4 years old, and so there might be a little bit of overlap. But it's usually routines, procedures that we're going over in order to the classroom, rules, things like that. Their investigations will be based on different themes. So I've seen like a tree theme or a neighborhood theme, grocery store theme. So they do change them through. There are some ones that come for startup with previous curriculum, but it'll change. And really what we do is it's good teaching, it's responsive teaching, where as students are developing, we'll introduce various skills that are supported by the theme, and everybody doesn't necessarily always get the same lesson.
Okay.
Did I?
That was perfect.
Okay. So it's different.
It's differentiated at its best. I mean, if we could take some of the practices from preschool, which we are going to try and incorporating them in like the early learning, kindergarten and 1st grade, that's what all the research supports, because preschool was very well thought out before the state rolled it out. They did a lot of research. They worked elbow to elbow with teachers, practitioners, people, gurus at preschool. So New Jersey really does it well. I've been looking into other states that do it, and New Jersey is among the best of the preschool program. Well, thank you so much for coming. I'll stay behind for a few minutes in case you have any questions. But thank you again. Have a great night. Grab some cookies on your way out.